Stop. The $250,000 home care trap stealing your children's inheritance. Most families think Medicare plus savings means the house is safe. But the home care bill can still eat the house. Quietly. Lie. Staying home protects your home. Trap. One free waiver hour can open an estate recovery ledger that waits for your estate. The $250,000 drain starts with $33 to $35 per hour in 2025 and 2026. 30 hours a week looks small. It isn't. In the next 10 minutes, I'll give you 5 fixes you can use without fancy lawyers. 1 wrong signature, 1 helpful service, or 1 year of delay can erase your children's share. And here's the kicker. There's 1 paper that flips your home from safe to exposed. We'll get to that. First, the math that makes this urgent. Why this trap exists. The money math no one tells you. Let's make the numbers plain. In 2025 and 2026, in-home care averages $33 to $35 per hour in many markets. You won't start at 24/7. You'll likely begin at 30 to 40 hours a week. At 30 hours, $35 per hour is about $1,050 per week. That's roughly $4,550 per month, about $54,600 per year. At 40 hours, the same rate is about $1,400 per week, or roughly $72,800 per year. But the invoice isn't the whole story. Nights and weekends cost more. Mileage, medication setup, and agency fees add about 20% to 30% in many markets. Now, that $72,800 year can look like $90,000 to $95,000. You can smooth it a bit with private caregivers, but then you add payroll, backup staff, and coordination time. Either way, the burn rate is real. So what does that do to a normal nest egg? Many families in their 1940s or 1960s saved $300,000 to $500,000 plus a paid-off home. If your mix of hours runs $60,000 to $90,000 a year, a $300,000 account can melt in 3 to 5 years. And it often accelerates. Why? As needs rise, hours rise. A fall, a UTI, or a memory slip adds nights or 2-person assists. The month that used to be $4,500 becomes $7,500. That bump rarely goes back down. Here's where people pivot. When cash gets thin, you look for help. A hospital discharge planner mentions a program. A county caseworker offers a few in-home hours under a waiver. It sounds like a bridge. It can be a hook. In about half the country, states only recover from probate assets. In the other half, about 24 expanded recovery states, recovery can reach certain non-probate assets too. That means the house can be in play even if you tried to bypass probate. If you took Medicaid home and community-based services at age 55 or later, your state keeps a ledger. Services now, recovery later. This isn't fear talk. It's policy. Your house is safe while you live there. True, but a lien or claim can stack up for when you pass. Spouses and disabled children can be exceptions, but the rules and proof are tight, and timing matters. In expanded states, even a trust or transfer on death setup might not block recovery. In probate-only states, a deed that skips probate can help. We'll map this out so you don't guess. Let's add the time rules that quietly shape every plan. Medicaid has a 5-year look back. Gifts or transfers in that window can trigger a penalty. The VA aid and attendance pension has a 3-year look back, and crucially, there is no estate recovery on VA pension benefits. That means if you qualify, VA can be a clean first dollar while you line up safer steps. But the VA screens transfers too. The window is shorter, 36 months, but the intent is the same. No last-minute dumping of assets to qualify. VA also allows a short cure window to reverse a penalized transfer after decision, which Medicaid does not. Now to the emotional tax the math creates. Families delay help to save money. A spouse covers nights, then naps during the day. Adult children skip work, hoping this will be short. Burnout rises. Falls rise. ER visits rise. Costs rise. By the time you reach out, you're in crisis mode, signing whatever is handed to you. That's where the free help trap springs. One agency hour can flip the recovery switch in an expanded state. One missing clause in your power of attorney can block the safe moves that would have kept your home out of reach. We'll fix both. Where does this leave you? With a simple goal: spend smart in the right order and keep the house titled the right way before you ever take a dollar of waiver help. Prepay essentials that improve safety and care at home. Roof, ramps, rails, HVAC, lighting, before you apply. Replace the clunker car if driving is still part of daily life. Handle dental, vision, and hearing, because small problems become big hospital bills. Every dollar needs a receipt and a clear care reason. Those records turn reviews into approvals, and they keep gifts from being misread. 2 more anchors. Lie. Any deed that skips probate blocks recovery. Trap. In expanded recovery states, some non-probate transfers are still exposed. Know your state's recovery lane. If you're in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, a ladybird deed can keep control now and avoid probate later, which often blocks recovery claims. If you're not in those states, we'll show other paths. Second, accept that paperwork rules decide your fate. The right POA must include gifting authority, trust creation and funding, real estate powers, and permission to change beneficiaries where allowed. Generic forms often miss these. And when they do, you can't move fast enough when decline hits. You can feel the pattern. The math sets the stage. The rules set the traps. But a few early steps change the ending. Next, I'll show you exactly how estate recovery and in-home care intersect, and the one paper that flips your home from safe to exposed. What the real trap is, estate recovery meets in-home care. Here's the part most people never hear in plain words. Lie. Estate recovery only happens if you go to a nursing home. Trap. In many states, in-home help under Medicaid waivers counts too. The program name to watch is Home and Community-Based Services, or HCBS. If you are 55 or older and receive HCBS, your state tracks the cost. They add it to a ledger. When you pass, they try to collect, starting with your estate. That's the core trap. Care today, claim tomorrow. What services trigger the ledger? It's more than hands-on aids. Personal care, homemaker help, adult day health, case management, meals, transportation, some supplies, and even certain home modifications under a waiver can count. The hours look light at first, but once they are under a Medicaid waiver, they land on that ledger. This is where a few free hours can open the door. Now, states split into 2 big camps. About half the country is probate only for recovery. That means they file claims only against assets that pass through probate. The other half, around 24 expanded recovery states, can reach beyond probate. In those states, they may pursue certain non-probate transfers too, like some trusts, beneficiary designations, or transfer on death deeds. This is why a one-size plan fails. What bypasses probate in one state can block recovery. In an expanded state, that same move may not be enough. Let's clear up a big myth. My house is safe while I live here, so I'm fine. It's true that your home is exempt for eligibility if you live in it, and states don't force a sale while you reside there. But recovery isn't about now, it's about later. A lien or claim can stack up in silence and wait. Your spouse and a disabled child can be exceptions, but the timing, proof, and filings must be tight. Miss a step or miss a deadline, and the claim can return. What about using a trust? In probate-only states, a properly set revocable trust won't protect against recovery because the assets are still considered yours. An irrevocable trust made on time. Well, outside the 5-year Medicaid look-back can help in some states, but not all. Expanded recovery rules can still reach certain non-probate transfers. So the trust type, timing, and your state's lane matter. This is why we map your state before you accept any waiver hour. There's a safer angle in 5 states: Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, and West Virginia. In those states, a ladybird deed, also called an enhanced life estate deed, lets you keep full control now and pass the house outside probate when you die. That often blocks estate recovery because there is no probate asset to claim. But this tool only works in those states. Use it where valid. Don't rely on it elsewhere. Transfer on death deeds look simple. In probate-only states, they can work to bypass probate and avoid a claim on the home. In expanded states, they can still be open to recovery because some laws allow claims against non-probate transfers. That's the gotcha with easy forms. The form may be legal, but the recovery rules can still reach the asset. Title alone isn't protection. Title plus your state's rules is the test. Here's where paperwork meets power. If your power of attorney is weak, your agent can't retitle the house, create or fund a trust, change beneficiaries where allowed, or make strategic gifts within program rules. Many default forms cap gifts to small holiday amounts or past patterns. That won't work when care is rising and you need to reposition assets or prepay essentials. Your POA needs explicit gifting authority, the power to create and fund trusts, real estate powers, and permission to change or add beneficiary designations where state law allows. Without these, you are stuck at the worst time. Let's run a short story so this sticks. Maria wanted to age at home. She owned a paid-off house and had $350,000 saved. Her kids set up a transfer on death deed and thought they were done. 2 years later, she needed 35 hours a week. The county offered 8 waiver hours to help. They said yes. In Maria's expanded recovery state, those hours put her on the ledger. When she passed, the state filed a claim that reached non-probate transfers under state law. The TOD deed did not stop it. Her kids had to satisfy the claim before the house could pass clean. 1 free hour became a lien. Now flip that outcome. Same facts, but before any waiver hour, Maria's agent, under a POA with real gifting and trust powers, prepaid roof and HVAC, added rails and ramps with receipts, aligned beneficiary designations, and because she lived in Texas, recorded a ladybird deed. When waiver hours started, the ledger still ran. But when she passed, the house did not go through probate. No estate asset, no claim to file on the home. The savings and accounts passed by beneficiary. The state recovered only from what remained in probate, which was near zero. Same care, different paper, very different ending. This is the trap and the way out. Recovery rules follow the money and the title path. Your moves before the first waiver hour decide whether the state's claim has a lane. Next, we dig into title choices that decide who actually gets your house. The title trap, how your deed decides who gets your house. Your deed is not just paper. It's a lane marker for recovery and for who actually gets the home. Let's make each choice plain and show how it plays with recovery rules. Start with sole owner. 1 person on title, full control. Clean while you're living there. But at death, the home goes through probate unless you used a deed or trust that skips court. In probate-only states, that probate step is the on-ramp for Medicaid recovery. If no bypass is set, the state can file its claim. In expanded recovery states, even if you try to avoid probate later, other moves can still be reached. Sole owner with no bypass is the riskiest lane. Joint tenancy with right of survivorship looks safer. 2 owners. When one dies, the survivor gets full title automatically outside probate. In probate-only states, that can block a claim at the first death because there's no probate estate. But here's where most people mess up. In expanded recovery states, recovery may still reach non-probate transfers. And when the last owner dies, if nothing more is set, probate reappears. Also, adding a child as a joint owner can blow up taxes and invite their creditors onto your deed. We'll come back to that mistake. Tenants in common splits ownership into shares. Each owner's share goes to their estate at death. That means probate for that share unless there's a specific bypass. For recovery, tenants in common often hands the state an easy lane because probate is built in. Unless every share is planned to avoid probate, expect exposure. Life estate deeds divide now and later. A traditional life estate without powers gives you the right to live there, but you cannot sell or refinance without the remainder persons. At death, the property passes outside probate to the remainder persons. That can block recovery in probate-only states. But there are two big downsides: lost control while alive and tax traps if you add kids early. Also, in some expanded states, recovery can still assert a claim, and lifetime transfers can trigger look-back penalties if inside 5 years. Enhanced life estate deeds, ladybird deeds, change the picture where allowed. Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, and West Virginia. You keep full control. You can sell, mortgage, or change beneficiaries without the remainder's consent. On death, the house passes outside probate. In probate-only states, that shuts the door on recovery against the home because there's no probate asset. In those 5 states, this is a strong tool to hold control now and avoid a claim later. Outside those states, do not assume an enhanced form exists. Many places do not honor it. Transfer on death deeds are simple forms that move the home at death without probate. In probate-only states, a TOD deed can work like a bypass and can help avoid a claim on the house. In expanded recovery states, TOD is not a force field. Laws in those states can reach non-probate transfers, which means the state may still file against the beneficiary or the property. Easy form, hidden trap. What about trusts? A revocable living trust is great for probate avoidance and for clean transfers across family lines. But for Medicaid recovery, it usually does not protect the house because assets are still yours. An irrevocable trust done early, well outside the 5-year Medicaid lookback, can help in some states, but it trades control for protection. Funding late or with the wrong terms can cause penalties or keep the home countable. In expanded recovery states, certain non-probate paths are still exposed, so trust design and timing must match your state's rules. Homestead status helps with taxes and gives some equity shielding from general creditors in some states. It is not a force field against Medicaid estate recovery. Do not rely on homestead alone. It won't stop the ledger from turning into a claim later. Check your state's homestead and recovery statutes side by side. Now, the biggest blunder I see, adding an adult child to the deed to be safe. It sounds neat and fast. It isn't. First, you lose a full step up in tax basis on that portion at your death, which can cause large capital gains if they sell. Second, you invite your child's risks onto your title, divorce, lawsuits, debts. Third, for Medicaid, that transfer can be a gift. If it happens inside the 5-year lookback, you can trigger a penalty period when you most need help. And in expanded recovery states, even that joint setup may not stop a later claim. High risk, low reward. So, how do you pick a lane? Map your state's recovery rules first. If you're in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, a ladybird deed can keep control and avoid probate, often blocking a claim on the house. If your state is probate only and does not allow ladybird, a TOD deed, or a well-coordinated trust plus beneficiary setup can work. If you're in an expanded recovery state, you likely need a deeper plan. strong POA, timed irrevocable trust if appropriate, and careful spend down plus beneficiary alignment. Title is step 1. The program and timing decide the rest. Here's the test I give families. Lie. If it skips probate, it's protected. Truth. It must skip probate and withstand your state's recovery rules. If yes, you're on track. If not, fix title before any waiver hour starts. Because once that ledger opens, the state is waiting at the end. Now, with title clear, let's set up your beneficiaries so the rest of your assets don't fall back into probate. Beneficiary designations that bypass the clawback. Once title is set, you have to close the other on-ramps to probate. Lie. Only the house matters. Trap. One orphan account labeled estate can open probate and invite recovery. So our job is simple. Keep assets out of probate in legal ways your state allows, while staying clear of look-back traps. This is where beneficiary designations do heavy lifting. Start with bank and brokerage accounts. Use POD, payable on death, and TOD, transfer on death, to name who gets the funds. That means when you pass, the bank pays the named person directly. No probate, no court delay. In probate-only recovery states, this often shuts the door on a claim for those accounts because there's no estate asset to file against. In expanded recovery states, the state may still reach certain non-probate transfers. So we coordinate designations with your state's rules and your care program choices. Retirement accounts already use beneficiaries. Check them now. Name primary and backups. Use per stirpes if you want a grandchild to take a deceased child's share. Keep the tax angle clean by matching beneficiary types to the account rules. For IRAs, avoid naming the estate. That drags the account into probate, which invites a claim and can limit stretch options for heirs. Life insurance is next. Policies with named beneficiaries pass outside probate. That's good, but make sure the owner and beneficiary structure fits your plan. If the estate is the beneficiary, you lose the bypass and add claim risk. Fix that. Also confirm that premium payments are current and that the carrier has the right address and SSN for each beneficiary. Tiny admin misses send checks to limbo. For regular investment accounts, use TOD where offered. Some custodians call it transfer on death or beneficiary transfer. Same idea. Again, in probate-only states, this helps keep assets out of reach. In expanded recovery states, TOD may still be exposed if the state targets non-probate transfers. That's why we never rely on labels alone. We match the form to the statute where you live. Now, trusts. A revocable living trust is a great probate bypass tool for many assets. You title the account to the trust or add the trust as the TOD/POD beneficiary. On death, the trust instructions control the handoff without court. But remember, revocable trusts do not shield assets from Medicaid recovery by themselves because you still control them. The value here is clean transfer and court avoidance. In probate-only states, that can be enough to stop a claim. In expanded states, the law may allow claims against trust distributions or the trustee, so design and timing matter. What about irrevocable trusts? These can add protection if created and funded outside Medicaid's 5-year look-back and drafted to fit your state's rules. They trade control for safety. This is not a DIY move. If you need care soon, funding an irrevocable trust late can cause a penalty. If done early and correctly, it can move assets, including a home in some states, off the target path. Your POA must have express powers to create and fund trusts, or your agent can't do it for you if you're not able. Here's where forms fail. Generic POAs often cap gifting to customary amounts or past giving patterns. That blocks strategic moves. Your POA needs explicit authority to make gifts, including to the agent if your spouse is the agent, to create and fund trusts, to change or add beneficiary designations where allowed, to retitle accounts, to handle tax filings, and to manage real estate. In states like New York, that may include a separate statutory gifts rider. Without this detail, banks and custodians can say no right when timing matters most. Coordination is everything. If your deed passes the house outside probate, but one bank account still lists estate as beneficiary, that one orphan account can open probate. Once probate opens, recovery can jump in. So we map every asset: home, bank, brokerage, IRA, life insurance, annuities, vehicles, even prepaid burial accounts. Each gets a lane: deed, trust, title, pod/TOD, or beneficiary form. Then we verify backups. If a child predeceases you, does their share flow to their kids, or does it collapse to the other siblings? Decide now. Let's ground this with a quick case. Harold and June had a house, 2 IRAs, a joint bank account, and a small brokerage in Harold's name. They fixed the deed in Texas with a Lady Bird deed. Great start. Their IRAs had each other as primary, kids as backups. Clean. But the solo brokerage still flowed to estate. When Harold passed, that one account opened probate. The state filed a claim for June's HCBS ledger because recovery in their state runs through probate. The kids had to settle the claim before closing the estate, even though most assets were set. One form, big delay. Now flip it. Same assets, but the brokerage adds TOD to the trust. The joint bank account adds POD to the trust. The trust names kids per stirpes. On Harold's death, nothing hits probate. When June later passes, the house moves by Lady Bird deed. Accounts flow by trust and TOD/POD, and there is no estate to file against. In a probate-only state, that shuts the door. In an expanded state, we'd add program choices that avoid recovery or earlier trust design outside look-back. 2 last points. First, align titles with your care plan timing. Before any Medicaid waiver hour, finish your beneficiary sweep. Second, review yearly. Mergers, closed accounts, lost riders, and family changes break setups. A 20-minute annual check keeps you out of probate by accident. Get a 1-page map in the front of your file with every account, its lane, and the latest statement date. Simple, boring, the program
Safe.
line. That's how you
Medicaid
bypass
versus
the waivers versus VA aid and attendance. Now we choose lanes. 3 programs shape the path: Medicaid long-term care, Medicaid HCBS waivers, and VA aid and attendance. Why? All help dollars are the same. Trap. Medicaid waivers can create a recovery ledger at 55 plus. VA pensions do not. Get this right, and you buy clean dollars and time. Medicaid long-term care covers nursing homes and, in many states, in-home help through waivers. The trigger that matters for estate recovery is age 55 and receipt of HCBS or institutional services. If you're 55 plus and get waiver hours, your state starts a ledger. Later, they try to collect. In probate-only states, they file against probate assets. In about 24 expanded recovery states, they can reach some non-probate paths too. That's why title and beneficiary work must happen before any waiver hour starts. HCBS waivers are the quiet trap because they look small. A few 8 hours, some adult day health, maybe transportation. Helpful? Yes. But if any of it is paid under a Medicaid waiver after 55, it lands on the ledger in expanded recovery states that can put even a transfer on death deed or some trust pathways in reach at death. Waivers are great when used with the right paper. They are risky when used first with no setup. VA aid and attendance is different. It's a needs-based pension for wartime veterans and surviving spouses. It helps pay for care at home, in assisted living, or in a facility. 2 key points make VA a strong first dollar. The look-back is 3 years, not 5, and there is no estate recovery on VA pensions. That means if you qualify, VA funds do not create a clawback later. Clean money. But the VA will still review transfers in the 36 months before you apply and can impose a penalty period capped by VA rules if you moved assets to qualify. You can often cure a VA penalty by reversing the transfer within 60 days of the decision. Timing and records still matter. So why not always start with VA? 2 reasons. First, not everyone served during a qualifying wartime period or meets the medical need. Second, even if VA fits, you must coordinate with Medicaid so the VA income and unreimbursed medical expenses stack correctly. Done well, VA can reduce your private spend and delay or limit Medicaid waiver use. That buys you time to lock deeds, fix beneficiaries, and complete safe spend downs like roof, ramps, rails, HVAC, dental, vision, and hearing. Let's draw the look-back lines on one page. Medicaid has a 5-year look-back for long-term care eligibility. Any gift or below-market transfer in those 60 months can trigger a penalty. The penalty is a time period you must private pay before benefits start. VA has a 3-year look-back starting from your application date. Transfers inside 36 months can trigger a penalty, but you have a short window to undo them after the VA decides. Different clocks, different cures. Your plan should use the shorter VA clock first, when possible, then step carefully into Medicaid only after your paper and spending order are clean. Here's the $1,000 per month mistake. Families skip VA and pay an extra $1,000 a month out of pocket for 10 years. That's $120,000 gone, often the exact amount they hope to leave the kids. In many cases, a VA pension could have covered that gap with no estate recovery risk. Missing VA is common because people think VA is only for service-connected disability or the forms are too hard. It's a pension for wartime service with financial and medical tests. Learn it, use it, or get help filing through VA-accredited representatives. Mixed coverage is where traps hide. Say you're getting VA aid and attendance, and then accept 1 hour a week of Medicaid waiver help. That 1 hour can open the estate recovery door in an expanded state. Your VA funds remain clean, but the Medicaid waiver hours start a ledger. If your title and beneficiaries aren't ready, you've turned on the claim path. The fix is sequence. Finish deeds, beneficiaries, and safe spend downs first. Use VA to bridge. Bring in Medicaid waiver. Help only after the paper is right, and only if your state's recovery lane is mapped. 2 more timing notes. In some places, community Medicaid look-back rules for in-home care are being phased in or delayed. Don't bank on delays. Plan as if the 5-year rule applies. Also, for married couples, Medicaid's rules allow a community spouse resource allowance. That means you can often keep more assets for the healthy spouse while qualifying the spouse who needs care. But you still need a POA with gifting and trust powers to shift assets fast and clean. Generic forms block the moves. Let's anchor this with a quick path you can copy. Step 1. Check Virginia eligibility. If service dates and medical need fit, prepare a clean application with a care plan and unreimbursed medical expenses documented. Step 2. While VA is pending, update POA with explicit gifting authority, trust creation, and funding real. Estate powers and beneficiary change powers where allowed. Add HIPAA releases. Step 3. Map your state's recovery lane. If you're in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, record a Lady Bird deed before any waiver services. If not, use TOD or trust plus beneficiaries as your bypass in probate-only states, or consider early irrevocable trust planning if you are in an expanded state and have the time window. Step 4. Finish safe spend downs with receipts. Then, only then, evaluate Medicaid waivers. That's the program line. Use VA first when you can for clean dollars, respect the 5-year Medicaid clock, and never start a waiver hour until your paper and spending order are locked. Now we move to the spend order that keeps the house safe. The spending order that keeps the house safe. Once you know your state lane and you've picked the right program order, the next lever is how you spend. The goal is simple. Use dollars that do not trigger look-back trouble, raise safety at home, and reduce monthly burn before you ever touch a waiver hour. Done right, this order buys years at home and keeps the house off the claim path. Start with a safe spend-down ladder. Foundation first. Safety, mobility, and home access. These are not extras. They cut falls, cut ER runs, and cut night aid needs. Prepay essentials you'll need for the next 5 to 10 years. Roof, HVAC with clean filters, water heater, electrical fixes, grab bars, handrails, brighter LED lighting, non-slip flooring, door levers, widened doorways, and a zero-step entry or ramp. Each ties to care and health. Each needs an invoice and a receipt. That paper trail matters. Next, mobility. Replace the clunker car if driving is still part of daily life or caregiver support. A reliable car reduces missed appointments and prevents the emergency ride that becomes a hospital stay. Add a stair lift or transfer aids if needed. Fund a medical alert system with fall detection for a full year. These are valid medical and safety spends in most states and are far better uses of dollars than letting cash sit and then vanish into hourly care at peak rates. Now health capacity. Dental, vision, and hearing fixes are high ROI. Bad teeth become infections. Poor vision and poor lighting cause falls. Hearing loss drives confusion and isolation, which pushes behavior issues and night wandering. Schedule a full dental plan, new glasses, and hearing aids with fitting and batteries. Pay for them now, keep the receipts, and log the medical need. These costs are often allowed, and they reduce care hours later. Then, care hours. After you've built the safety stack, you can buy targeted help. The trick is to reduce agency load while keeping quality. Anchor the week with professional shifts when tasks are complex, bathing days, transfers, medbox setup, and have family cover lighter tasks where safe. That hybrid staffing cuts the bill while holding standards. If nights are the risk, don't jump to a 7-night aid. Layer cheaper tools first. Motion lights, bed pads, door chimes, camera-free sensors, and timed check-ins. One well-placed tech stack can delay costly overnights for months or years. Adult Day Health is a strong lever. It bundles meals, therapy, social time, and nursing oversight. For caregivers, it's respite. For budgets, it replaces several aid hours with one service line. If the program is private pay or VA offset first, use that path to avoid opening the Medicaid waiver ledger too early. Keep transport receipts if you're paying for rides. Those costs can count as unreimbursed medical expenses under VA and help qualify or raise the benefit. Every dollar needs a receipt trail and a care reason. Build a simple care log. Date, task, who did it, and time spent. Match big purchases to the care plan with short doctor letters. Requires rail installation due to fall risk. Needs hearing aids for medication compliance. And so on. When reviewers ask, you hand them a clean packet. You are not gifting. You are paying for care and health. That turns questions into approvals. Here's where most people mess up. They gift to kids first to be safe. Under Medicaid's 5-year look-back and VA's 3-year look-back, those gifts can cause a penalty period. A penalty means you must pay privately for a number of months before coverage starts. If you're already deep into care, that can be ruinous. Skip gifting to kids inside those windows. If you must help a child, document real services they provide and pay fair rates with invoices, a care contract, and logs. Even then, expect scrutiny. Clean is key. Another common error, spending after you've started waiver services. In many states, once the waiver is open, reviewers look harder at any asset moves. Do the big home upgrades and equipment buys before you apply for Medicaid waivers. If decline has already started, prioritize safety upgrades over transfers. A ramp now does more to keep you home than a deed change you cannot. Use without a solid POA. Sequence matters. The clean order is deeds and beneficiaries first, then safe spend down with receipts, then apply to the right program for your state and case. If you are married, add the community spouse rules. You may be able to shift assets to the healthy spouse within program limits without penalty, but you still need a POA with explicit gifting authority and real estate powers to do it fast and right. Without those clauses, you stall. Let me show you the stack at work. Ellen had $280,000 and a home before any waiver hour. Her agent used a strong POA to record a Lady Bird deed in Michigan, prepaid roof and HVAC, installed ramps and lighting, bought a stair lift, handled dental and hearing, and set a med sink with a weekly pill box. They documented every item with receipts and a doctor note. Then they used VA aid and attendance to cover part of her adult day health and a weekly pro-bath shift. Agency hours dropped from 40 to 18. Burn fell by half. When Medicaid waiver help started later, the ledger ran, but the house stayed off the lane. 2 years of runway turned into 5. This spending order is boring by design. It's checklists, invoices, logs, and timing. But it's also what turns a fragile budget into a stable plan. Build the safety stack, then buy hours. Keep paper for every dollar. Avoid gifts inside low-backs. And never open a waiver until title and beneficiaries are set. Once your money is flowing in the right order, the next move is to shape the care plan that stretches your runway even further. The care plan that buys 3 extra years at home. Now, we turn the dials on care itself. The goal is clear. Hold safety, cut waste, and keep nights from blowing up the budget. Think of this as building a small team with smart tools so you buy fewer high-cost hours and get more stable days. Start with hybrid staffing. Put family on the core routine they already do well: meals, light cleanup, laundry, companionship, short walks. Then anchor the hard tasks with a pro. That means a licensed aide or nurse for bathing days, safe transfers, skin checks, and weekly med box setup. Pros handle the high-risk moves. Family keeps the rhythm. This split lowers agency hours while holding quality where it counts. I've watched families cut paid hours from 40 to 20 a week with no dip in safety just by moving bath days to 2 90-minute pro blocks and bundling tasks. Stack the week. For example, Monday and Thursday are pro anchor. Mornings, bath, nail trim, skin check, med review, short exercise, linen change. Family fills the gaps each day. Breakfast, a walk, light chores, and social time. If a family member works, shift 1 pro anchor to Saturday morning. Keep 1 float, hour for odd weeks. You'll feel the plan snap into place when the calendar shows who does what and when. Night risk is the budget killer. So we solve nights with layers, not endless shifts. Start with light and path control. Add motion night lights from bed to bath, non-slip mats, and a clear path with no cords or rugs. Put a raised toilet seat and grab bars in reach. Then add smart sensors that do not invade privacy. Bed exit pads that ping a phone, door chimes on exterior doors, stove knob covers, and a simple auto-shut kettle. If wandering is a risk, add a GPS shoe tag or watch, set safe zones, and share alerts with 2 caregivers. Now add time check-ins. Instead of 8 paid overnight hours, set 2 brief checks, 10:30 p.m. and 2:30 a.m. by a nearby family member or a neighbor you pay a small stipend. Pair that with a video-free monitor in the hallway aimed at the floor, not the bed. Your goal is to catch the getting up moment and redirect, not to watch all night. If the pattern shows 2 stable wake times, hold that. If it shifts, adjust the check-ins. This one change can save $1,500 to $2,500 a month. Adult Day Health is your daytime engine. It bundles meals, therapy, nursing oversight, and social time that lifts mood and reduces sundowning. It also gives family real respite. Use VA aid and attendance first where you can. Use private pay next if it keeps you out of a Medicaid waiver early. If transport is hard, set a shared ride. 2 or 3 days a week often replaces 6 to 8 hours. That swap alone buys months of runway. Build a fall prevention stack. Strong legs, safe feet, clear paths. Do 10-minute leg and balance drills twice a day. Sit to stands, heel to toe, mini squats to a chair, and calf raises at the counter. Shoe fit matters. Firm heel, no floppy slip-ons. Raise chair and bed height with risers if stands are hard. Light every hallway. Kill throw rugs. Add rails at all entry points. Put a sturdy chair in the bath with a handheld shower. These buys are cheaper than one ER visit and are valid medical spends with receipts. Sync meds to one refill week. Ask the pharmacy to align all monthly meds. Use a weekly pill box and have the Pro Anchor set it each Monday. Add a simple med list on the fridge with dose, time, and purpose. If a med is sedating at night or causes day naps, ask the doctor if timing can shift. Fewer errors and better timing mean fewer hospital trips. That's money saved and stress lowered. Use simple routines to cut agitation. Keep wake, meals, walks, and rest at the same times. Play the same soft music before bath. Warm the bathroom. Lay out clothes in order. Use a first then cue. First wash, then tea. These reduce resistance, shorten tasks, and reduce the need for extra hands. Train every helper. 5 minutes at the start of a shift. How to cue a safe stand where the gate belt sits. What words calm a tough moment. How to log tasks. Put a one-page how we do mornings on the fridge. Consistent methods prevent injuries and avoid the second-person bill. Measure, then tweak. Track 2 numbers for 4 weeks. Total paid hours and night wake events. If wake events drop under 2 most nights, hold your setup. If they spike, add 1 tool before you add a shift. Chin level water on the nightstand for dry mouth, a bedside commode, or a light bedtime snack. 1 tweak at a time, then remeasure. You'll see what works. Last, protect caregivers. A burned out spouse is a fast path to 24/7 agency care. Schedule respite on the calendar like a doctor visit. Use day health, a neighbor sit, or a church visitor. Give the caregiver 1 full off-duty block each week. Put a simple backup tree on paper. Who to call if the Tuesday helper is sick. This stops panic and emergency agency hours. Hybrid staffing, night layers, day health, fall strength, and med sync. This is how you buy 3 extra years at home. Less waste, fewer crises, more steady days. And now, with the care plan solid, it's time to fix the one document that can block all of this if it's wrong. The one paper that flips your home from safe to exposed. This is the hinge. If your power of attorney is wrong, the whole plan freezes. Lie. Any POA will do. Trap. Missing, gifting, and real estate powers block every safe move. Care starts. Costs rise. But no one can move assets, fix deeds, fund a trust, or even talk to the bank. You feel stuck because you are stuck. The fix is not a fancy binder. It's the right words in one paper, signed before decline. Here's why the common form fails. Many standard POAs only allow customary gifts or gifts that match your past holiday giving. That language blocks Medicaid and VA planning. It blocks moving assets to a spouse. It blocks funding an irrevocable trust when you still have time. It blocks changing a beneficiary who is now deceased. Banks read the small print. If the power isn't explicit, they say no. So, what must be in your POA? Use these plain, required powers, confirm your state statute, and any required rider's broad gifting authority, not just $500 at birthdays. The document must authorize gifts above the annual exclusion if needed to family and to trusts, and if your spouse is your agent, it must allow gifts to the agent. Without that, a spouse cannot move assets quickly to meet rules. Trust creation and funding. The agent must be allowed to create amend where lawful, and fund trusts, including an irrevocable trust and a special needs trust. If the POA is silent, you cannot set the structure that protects assets outside the 5-year Medicaid look-back window. Real estate powers. The agent must have authority to buy, sell, mortgage, lease, and record deeds, including life estate or ladybird deeds where allowed. Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, West Virginia. If your state uses a special rider or separate initials for real estate, complete it. Beneficiary changes where allowed. The agent needs power to add, remove, or change beneficiary designations, POD/TOD, and per stirpes elections as permitted by state law and the account. Some states restrict this without explicit words. Put the words in. Digital and records access. The agent must access all financial records, tax transcripts, and online portals. Reviewers ask for 5 years of statements for Medicaid and 3 years for VA. If your agent can't pull them, delays become denials. Tax powers. Authority to file and sign tax returns, make elections, and handle gift tax filings. Clean taxes keep reviews smooth and make larger permitted gifts traceable. Legal counsel powers. Authority to hire and pay elder law counsel and other pros. If a bank balks, counsel steps in. The POA should let the agent pay fees and sign engagement letters. HIPAA release. This is often separate. It must name the same agents so they can speak with doctors, pharmacies, and day programs and collect the letters that prove medical need for VA and Medicaid. State quirks matter. In New York, major gifting requires a statutory gifts rider signed with the POA. Some states require special initials by key powers or separate real estate acknowledgments. Use a state-specific form. Skip generic downloads. They look fine until you need to use them. Timing matters too. A springing POA that only activates after physicians certify incapacity sounds safe but costs time. Getting 2 doctors to sign while you're mid-crisis can take weeks. Bills don't pause. A durable, immediately effective POA is better for care planning. If you worry about control, keep the original locked and tell your agent when to use it. But make it active now. Now, the mistake that flips safe to exposed. Without gifting authority, your agent cannot move assets to a spouse within program limits. They cannot prepay the roof or HVAC as part of a safe spend down. They cannot record a ladybird deed in a state that allows it. They cannot fix a beneficiary stuck on estate. So when a county caseworker offers a waiver hour, you say yes to survive the week. The Medicaid ledger opens at 55 plus. Recovery now has a lane. Your house is not lost today, but the claim is aimed and waiting. Let's run a fast example. Don is in his 1960s, lives in Michigan, and wants to stay home. His daughter holds a generic POA. It caps gifts to customary amounts. Don declines. The hospital lines up 8 waiver hours on discharge. The daughter wants to record a ladybird deed, move $20,000 to fix the roof and railings, and update beneficiaries. The bank and the title office ask for the POA. They see no broad gifting, no real estate powers checked, no beneficiary change language. They refuse. To get court authority would take months. Care starts anyway. Ledger opens. 2 years later, estate recovery files a claim after Don passes. The house is now in play. Flip it with strong paper. Same family, but the POA is durable, immediately effective, and includes broad gifting, including to the agent of spouse, trust creation and funding, real estate powers, and beneficiary change authority. There's a HIPAA release before any waiver hour. The agent records a ladybird deed, pays for roof, rails, and lighting with invoices, and a doctor letter, aligns POD/TOD and per stirpes, and files a clean VA claim. VA pays part of day health. Months later, if waiver hours start, the ledger runs, but the home is not on the probate lane. When Don passes, No probate estate holds the house, so no claim attaches to it. 2 closing guardrails. First, name backups. If your first agent is your spouse, list an adult child second and a third as a safety. Second, do a short POA check each year. Are the powers still broad? Are agents still living and local? If the law changes in your state, update now, not during a crisis. One document, the right words, signed early. That's how you keep control when it counts and stop the 24-month window from becoming a claim on your home without tripping look back. This is the timing lane that saves or sinks you. The next 24 months are where clean moves fit and messy moves get punished. Your goal is simple: complete title fixes, beneficiary sweeps, and safe spend downs before any Medicaid waiver hour starts, and never trigger a penalty under the 5-year Medicaid LOBAC or the 3-year VA LOBAC. Best practice is to finish upgrades and retitling before services begin. Handle the deed choice first. If you live in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, record a Lady Bird deed now, before a single waiver hour. If you're in a probate-only state, use TOD or a coordinated revocable trust plus beneficiaries. If you're in an expanded recovery state, you may need an earlier irrevocable trust plan, but only if you can fund it well outside the 5-year Medicaid LOBAC. Do not rush into an irrevocable trust late in the window. That is how penalties start. If decline has already started, prioritize home modifications over transfers. Ramps, rails, lighting, bath safety, HVAC, roof, and electrical fixes should come first. These spend downs are legitimate, improve care at home, and do not count as gifts. They also reduce the number of paid hours you need later. Keep invoices and a short doctor letter for each major item to show medical need. Use short-term private pay to bridge cleanly into programs. If you need 8 to 12 weeks of help while you finish deeds and beneficiary fixes, pay privately for that period. This avoids opening the Medicaid waiver ledger too early. It also gives you time to file a VA aid and attendance claim if you qualify. VA has a 3-year look back, not 5, and no estate recovery on the pension. That can be your first clean dollar while you finish the setup. Sequence matters. The order is deeds and beneficiaries first, safe spend down with receipts second, apply to the right program third. Right program depends on your state and your case. If VA fits, apply early and use it to cover part of adult day health or anchor shifts. If you must use Medicaid waivers, file only after your title and beneficiary work is complete and your POA has the powers we covered: broad gifting, trust creation and funding, real estate, and beneficiary changes where allowed. Now, let's get precise about the lookbacks. Medicaid's LOBAC is 5 years for long-term care. Any gifts or below-market transfers inside those 60 months can trigger a penalty. The penalty is a time period when Medicaid will not pay, and you must private pay. VA's lookback is 36 months. Transfers that drop your net worth to qualify can cause a penalty up to 5 years, but VA lets you cure by reversing the transfer within 60 days of the penalty decision. Use that safety valve if you slip. Medicaid does not offer that cure. This is why you never gift to kids inside 5 years and call it planning. For married couples, there's a playbook. Medicaid allows a community spouse resource allowance for the healthy spouse. You can often move assets to the community spouse within program limits without penalty, but your POA must allow gifting to the agent if your spouse is serving as agent. Without that self-gift authority, you can't shift fast enough. Time those moves before waiver hours. Then file with a clean packet that shows the resource split, incomes, and the care plan. There's a 24-month timing rhythm that works. Months 1 to 2. Execute or update the POA and HIPAA release with the required powers. Map your state's recovery lane and decide the deed path. Months 2 to 4. Record the deed, sweep beneficiaries and backups, add per stirpes, and remove estate where it appears. Months 3 to 6. Complete core home upgrades, mobility aids, lighting, and bath safety. Handle dental, vision, and hearing. Log care tasks, and collect letters of medical need. Months 4 to 6. File a VA aid and attendance claim if eligible. Start adult day health or pro anchor shifts using private pay and VA dollars. Months 6 to 9. After everything above is locked, apply for Medicaid waivers only if needed, with a care log and full receipts attached. If you are already on a waiver, act, but adjust the aim. You cannot undo the ledger for past services. You can still stop future exposure. Fix the POA next. Correct beneficiaries that point to estate. In probate-only states, move remaining assets to POD/TOD or trust titles to avoid opening probate later. In expanded recovery states, ask counsel whether future services can shift to state programs that do not trigger recovery or whether VA can replace part of the hours. Do not make gifts. Focus on safe spend downs tied to care and on reducing burn with the care plan you built. Avoid 7 timing landmines. 1. Adding a child to the deed inside 5 years. That's a gift and a tax hit. 2. Starting a waiver before deed and beneficiary fixes. That opens the recovery door. 3. Springing POAs that need 2 doctor letters. You can't get them fast in crisis. For revocable trusts assumed to block recovery. They don't by themselves. 5. Gifting for tuition or helping out. Reviewers see gifts. 6. Ignoring VA. You leave clean dollars on the table. 7. Forgetting backups. 1 probate-bound orphan account can open a claim lane. The 24-month window is about pacing. You are front-loading paper and safety. You are delaying waiver hours until your lanes are set. You are using VA's shorter look-back where you can. You are keeping every receipt and matching each spend to a care reason. Done in this order, you avoid penalties, block probate on key assets, and keep the house off the recovery path. Your next move, lock your checklist so nothing slips in the rush. The 7 silent mistakes that trigger the $250,000 loss. Let's cut straight to the 7 quiet errors that drain families. These aren't dramatic. They're small moves that open the recovery lane and speed up spend. Fix these and you keep control. Silent mistake 1. Adding kids to the deed to be safe. It feels simple. It isn't. You hand your child part ownership today. That can be a gift inside Medicaid's 5-year look-back and VA's 3-year look-back. Penalties follow. You also lose the full step-up in tax basis on that portion at death, which can mean a big capital gains bill if they sell. Plus, their risks become your risks. Divorce, lawsuits, liens. In expanded recovery states, that joint setup still won't stop a claim later. Better path. Use a Lady Bird deed in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, or a TOD or trust path in probate-only states after mapping your lane. Silent mistake 2. Delaying power of attorney updates. A week or old POA blocks all the safe moves when you need them most. Many forms cap gifts to customary amounts and say nothing about trusts, real estate, or beneficiary changes. Banks say no. Title offices say no. You can't record a Lady Bird deed. We're allowed. You can't prepay roof, rails, or HVAC as part of a safe spend down. You can't shift assets to a spouse under community spouse rules. While you wait for a court order, a hospital discharges with waiver hours and the ledger opens. Fix durable, immediately effective POA with explicit gifting authority, including to the agent of spouse, trust creation and funding, real estate powers and beneficiary change powers, plus a HIPAA release and backups named. Silent mistake 3. Assuming Medicare covers long-term help. Medicare is medical, not long-term care. At best, you may get a short home health burst after a hospital stay. It will not cover 30 to 40 hours a week of personal care. Bills stack at $33 to $35 an hour in 2025 and 2026. Families drain $60,000 to $90,000 a year before they realize Medicare won't pay. By then, cash is thin, stress is high, and you're forced into waiver hours with no prep. Solution: plan the spend order. Use VA aid and attendance first, if eligible, and lock deeds and beneficiaries before you ever need Medicaid waivers. Silent mistake 4: taking free help not knowing it's a Medicaid waiver. A friendly caseworker offers a few hours of in-home help. You sign to get through the week. If you're 55 or older, those HCBS waiver hours can start the estate recovery ledger. In probate-only states, a probate estate is the on-ramp. In about 24 expanded recovery states, the claim can reach non-probate paths too. 1 hour can open the door. Fix, finish title, and beneficiary work first. If you're in a Lady Bird state, record it before a single waiver hour. Use private pay or VA to bridge while you set the paper. Silent mistake 5: skipping receipts and care logs. Reviews need proof. Without invoices, receipts, and a simple care log, your safe spend downs look like gifts. Reviewers delay or deny. Penalties start. Keep a binder: date, item, cost, who was paid, and why it ties to care. Add brief doctor notes. Fall risk needs rails. Hearing loss needs aids for med compliance. Clean paper flips gift into approved. Silent mistake 6: ignoring VA aid and attendance. This is the $1,000 a month mistake. Families private pay a gap for 10 years and lose $120,000 they didn't have to spend. VA's pension has a 3-year look back, allows a penalty cure within 60 days if you fix a transfer, and has no estate recovery. If wartime service and medical need fit, VA can fund adult day health, anchor shifts, and med management. It buys time to finish deeds, beneficiaries, and safe home upgrades. Don't leave clean dollars on the table. Silent mistake 7: ending in probate by accident. You did the hard parts, fixed the deed, maybe even used a Lady Bird deed where valid. But one orphan account still lists estate as beneficiary, or a small brokerage in your sole name lacks TOD. That one asset opens probate. Probate opens the recovery lane in probate-only states. The state files its claim. Months of delay follow. Fix, sweep every asset. Bank, brokerage, IRA, life. Insurance, annuities, vehicles, even prepaid burial. Add pod/TOD or trust titles. Use Persterpes backups. Review yearly so mergers or new accounts don't break the chain. Let me tie these together with a quick pass-fail. Pass looks like this: strong POA with broad gifting, trust, real estate, and beneficiary powers. HIPAA in place. Deed recorded to bypass probate that fits your state. Lady Bird in FL, TX, MI, VTWV, TOD, or trust on accounts. VA filed first if eligible. Receipts and care logs on every dollar. No gifts to kids inside 5 or 3 years, and no waiver hour until the paper is done. Fail is the mirror image. Weak POA, child on deed, estate on an account, no receipts, skip VA, take a waiver hour first. One path keeps the house. The other tees up the $250,000 loss. You now know the traps. Next, if you're already in them, we'll use a 90-day triage to steady the ship fast. If you're already in the trap, the 90-day triage plan. If you already said yes to waiver hours or a hospital set them up, don't panic. You can't undo past services, but you can stop new exposure and clean the path ahead. We'll move in weekly blocks so you know exactly what to do and in what order. Week 1, freeze and fix authority. Stop all gifts to kids, churches, or anyone outside normal bills. Hit pause on any deed changes until your power of attorney and HIPAA are solid. Book an urgent POA update with state-specific language. Your POA must include broad gifting authority, trust creation and funding, real estate powers, and permission to change beneficiaries where allowed. If your spouse is your agent, it must allow gifts to the agent. Add a HIPAA release that names the same agents. Choose backups too deep. Make the POA durable and immediately effective. If your state requires special initials or a rider for gifting, complete it. Put signed copies in a folder and scan them. Weeks 2 to 3, build proof. Start a simple care log today. Date, task, who did it, and time. Gather every receipt and invoice tied to care and home safety from the last 12 months. Pull 12 months of bank and credit card statements. If you can pull 5 years for Medicaid planning and 3 years for VA, create a binder with tabs, bank, credit cards, receipts, care log, insurance, and medical notes. Call the doctor and request a short letter stating diagnoses, functional limits, and the need for in-home support. You'll use this letter for VA unreimbursed medical expenses and for Medicaid need. Weeks 4 to 6, make the home safer now. Prioritize upgrades that cut falls and night risk. Install grab bars, railings, motion lights, non-slip mats, and brighter bulbs. Fix the loose step. Add a raised toilet seat and a shower chair with a handheld sprayer. If the roof or HVAC is near end of life, schedule it. These are valid spend downs, not gifts. Keep all estimates, invoices, and proof of payment. Ask the doctor for one-line notes to match big items. Needs ramp due to mobility limits, requires brighter lighting to reduce falls. Sync meds at the pharmacy to 1 refill week and start a weekly pill box. Have a pro anchor. Set it each Monday. Weeks 7 to 8, pick the cleanest money. Check Virginia aid and attendance eligibility if you or a spouse served during a wartime period. VA has a 3-year look back and no estate recovery on the pension. If eligible, file now with your care plan, receipts, and medical letter. If you already took Medicaid waiver hours, map your state's recovery lane. If you are in a probate-only state, plan to avoid probate for the house and accounts. If you are in an expanded recovery state, ask counsel whether future services can shift to programs that don't trigger recovery or whether VA can replace part of the hours. Use short-term private pay to bridge while you finish title and beneficiaries. Don't add new waiver services yet. Weeks 9 to 12, close every probate on-ramp. With your new POA, correct deeds, and beneficiaries where allowed. If you live in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, record a Ladybird deed now, even if waiver services already started. It won't erase the ledger, but it can keep the house from going through probate, which blocks recovery in probate-only states and often shuts the home lane in those 5 states. If your state is probate-only and does not allow Ladybird, use a transfer on death deed or a coordinated revocable trust plus pod/TOD on accounts to keep assets out of probate. Fix any account that lists estate as beneficiary. Add per stirpes backups so a grandchild takes a deceased child's share. File clean applications only after this sweep. For VA, include the care log, receipts, and the doctor letter to support unreimbursed medical expenses. For Medicaid waivers, submit 5 years of statements, your care log, receipts for all safety upgrades, and the medical letter. Do not include gifts. If any occurred, disclose and be ready for a penalty plan. Ask for a written list of any missing items to avoid. Back and forth delays. Common mid-triage mistakes to avoid. Adding a child to the deed. Gifting to reimburse family before you have a care contract and logs. Assuming a revocable trust blocks recovery. And relying on a springing POA that no one will honor in time. Keep your lane simple. Authority first, proof second, safety third, program choice fourth, title and beneficiaries fifth, then applications. Your 90 days end with 5 outcomes. 1. A durable, immediately effective POA and HIPAA with the exact powers you need. 2. A care binder with logs, receipts, and medical letters. 3. Safety upgrades done and documented. 4. A clean VA claim filed if eligible or at least prepared. 5. a deed and beneficiary setup that keeps the house and accounts out of probate in your state's lane. Past waiver hours are on the ledger. Future exposure can still be boxed in. That's stabilization. Now you're ready to build the permanent, no probate, no clawback, lock-it-in architecture. The no probate, no clawback architecture. This is the permanent setup that keeps your house and accounts off the recovery lane. Think of it as a simple map you build once, then check yearly. Each piece blocks an on-ramp to probate or an easy claim path. When these pieces line up, review days turn into quick approvals, not clawbacks. Start with the deed that fits your state. If you live in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, record a Lady Bird deed now, before any waiver hour. You keep full control while alive, and the house passes outside probate when you die. In probate-only states, that often shuts the door on recovery against the home because there's no estate asset to file against. If your state doesn't allow Lady Bird, use a transfer on death deed or a coordinated revocable trust plus beneficiary setup to bypass probate. In expanded recovery states, know that some non-probate transfers can still be reached, so you'll pair title with program choices and timing. Now lock the accounts. Put POD or TOD on every bank and brokerage account. If you use a revocable trust for clean transfers, either retitle the account to the trust or add the trust as TOD/POD. Avoid naming estate as a beneficiary. That one word opens probate. Confirm that each custodian has your current form and shows it on the latest statement. If not, fix it today. Set beneficiary backups with prosterpes. That means if a child passes before you, their share goes to their kids, not back into the general pool. It keeps family intent clear and prevents forced probate to sort it out. Add backups on life insurance, annuities, and retirement accounts. Never leave a blank. A blank routes value to probate. Handle pre-need funeral and burial the right way. Many states and programs let you set irrevocable burial accounts that don't count against eligibility. Follow your state's dollar caps and naming rules. Keep the contract, the receipt, and the account record in your binder. Reviewers look for clean burial plans. It signals order and reduces questions. Now the backbone, a durable, immediately effective power of attorney with the exact language we covered. Broad gifting, including to the agent if a spouse, trust creation and funding, real estate powers, beneficiary change powers were allowed, tax authority, digital access, and a HIPAA release that names the same agents. If your state uses a special rider, like New York's statutory gifts rider, complete it. This single paper lets your agent finish any loose end fast. Add a one-page map in the front of your binder. List the house, the deed type, and the county recording data. List each account, ending in the last 4 digits, and its lane, trust title, POD/TOD, or direct beneficiary. Note each life policy with owner and beneficiary. Add the VA claim number if you have one. Put agent names and phone numbers at the top. This page saves weeks when someone steps in. Do an annual file check. Once a year, pull statements for each account and confirm that the beneficiary or POD/TOD still shows on the face or in the profile. Custodians change systems. Riders get lost. Mergers drop forms. Fix any missing designations right away. Reread the POA. If your agents moved past or are no longer a fit, update now. Laws shift. State rules change. A 20-minute review keeps the walls solid. Coordinate taxes and timing. If you install a roof, HVAC, ramps, and bath safety, keep invoices and proof of payment. If you make a large permitted gift to a spouse as part of a Medicaid community spouse plan, file any needed gift tax forms. Clean tax trails shorten reviews. For VA, track unreimbursed medical expenses with receipts. It can raise your pension and help qualify Don't forget vehicles. In many states, one car is exempt for eligibility. Still, add TOD where offered or title it to your trust if that fits your plan. A loan car in your name can open probate by accident. Same with small CDs, online banks, and credit union accounts. Sweep them into your map and add pod/TOD. If you are in an expanded recovery state, add one more layer. Use VA aid and attendance first when you can. Delay Medicaid waivers until title and beneficiaries are locked. And consider whether early irrevocable trust planning, done outside the 5-year Medicaid lowback, fits your case. It trades control for protection, but can move assets off the target path if allowed by your state. This architecture is not fancy. It's a deed that bypasses probate, pod/TOD on every account, per Sturpey's backups, a burial plan that follows program rules, a strong POA with the right words, and a one-page map plus a yearly check. When you finish this, waiver hours can start without putting your house at the end of the state's claim lane. Clean paper, clean path. No probate, no clawback. What if you do this right? The family freedom picture. Same house, same porch, same 1960s wedding photos on the wall. But the stress tone is gone. You're not. Counting hours with a knot in your chest. Mornings run on a simple rhythm. A quick check of the pill box. A short walk to loosen the legs, light lunch. And 2 days a week at Adult Day Health where therapy, meals, and smiles are bundled into one clean line item. Nights are steady because the path to the bathroom is bright and clear, sensors ping if help is needed, and a 2-minute check replaces an 8-hour shift. Your kids manage, not scramble. The one-page map sits at the front of the binder. It shows the deed type, the accounts, each pod/TOD, and who to call. When a helper cancels, the backup tree kicks in. No midnight panics. Bills are predictable. VA aid and attendance fills a gap without creating a clawback later. If Medicaid waiver hours start, they start after your deed and beneficiaries are locked, so the house isn't at the end of a claim lane. Conversations change. Instead of how do we pay for next week, you talk about the grandkids' 1940s style talent show, or which neighbor dropped off soup. When the washing machine dies, it's a blip, not a budget crisis, because the big costs, roof, HVAC, rails, ramps, were handled up front with receipts and notes. Reviews are short because your binder has clean logs and doctor letters. You aren't defending gifts. You're showing care. When the time comes, transfers are quiet. The Ladybird deed in Texas or Vermont does its job. Or the TOD deed in a probate-only state moves the house without court. Accounts pass by beneficiary or trust. There's no estate to open. No line of letters from a recovery unit. No hold on the family home. Your story, not paperwork, is what your kids remember. The walks, the music before bath, the way you still told the old 190 SXS road trip joke. That's the freedom picture. Fewer strangers in your living room, fewer crises at 2 a.m., and no estate fight over a claim that never had a lane. You gave your family time, clarity, and a clean handoff. 3-step action plan. Step 1, update your power of attorney and HIPAA this week. Use durable, immediately effective forms with explicit powers. Broad gifting, including to the agent if spouse, trust creation and funding, real estate authority, and beneficiary change powers, where allowed. Add backups too deep. Step 2, map your deed and all beneficiaries within 30 days. If you're in Florida, Texas, Michigan, Vermont, or West Virginia, record a Ladybird deed. Else use a TOD deed or a coordinated trust plus pod/TOD on every account. Remove estate as a beneficiary anywhere it appears. Step 3, build the care plan now. Prepay safety. Rails, ramps, lighting, roof, HVAC. Sync meds, set pro anchor shifts, start a care log, and keep every receipt with short doctor notes. Then, and only then add VA or Medicaid hours as needed. Do these 3, and you block the $250,000 drain while keeping control. Transformation, challenge, next step. You just moved from house at risk to house protected by design, using title, beneficiaries, timing, and one strong document to shut the recovery lane. Challenge, fix one document and one beneficiary today. Update the POA with the exact powers, then remove estate from one account. Comment done, so others follow your lead. Ready to lock the hinge piece? Watch POA Language Deep Dive. The exact clauses banks and title offices look for, plus state quirks like New York statutory gifts rider. Finish your setup this week. Skip the 70% drop-off mistake. Your future self and your kids will thank you.